Hello and welcome to another video. My name is CJ the Populist New Yorker, and today's video is going to be the first in a series called Red to Blue, in which we analyze formerly Republican states that are now either Democratic leaning or safe Democratic states. And the first state we're going to be looking at is the state of Virginia. If you want to see more videos like this, election predictions and political commentary, please remember to leave a thumbs up at the end of this video and subscribe if you enjoyed. So this map is essentially the characterizations of all of Virginia's counties and independent cities that I've made for the 2020 election, for presidential elections in general. So of course the counties in yellow are swing counties, Stafford County, Caroline, all these other counties here. These are counties that either party could win in a presidential election. Of course, the blue counties, the safe blue counties, are counties that Democrats are guaranteed to win in any presidential election. That includes all of Northern Virginia, essentially, the Charlottesville area, the Richmond area at this point, and areas in Newport News. Now, of course, the red areas are areas Republicans are more likely to win. Most of the counties geographically are safe Republican counties. These are counties that, for the most part, Republicans can count on to win any presidential election. Of course, we have likely Republican counties as well, Spotsylvania County, etc., York County. These counties are likely categoried Republican counties. If you want to see my lean, likely, and safe rating, you could find it in the description of this video. And of course, we have lean Republican counties, and we have just one of those. Now, this is, of course, for the 2020 election. If we want to go back 20 years ago, this is the 2000 election with the same exact characterization by counties. One of the most starkest differences off the bat is that we have a lot more Republican-leaning counties. In 2020, there's just 84 Republican-leaning counties and cities. In 2000, there's 95. And a lot of these are concentrated mostly in this area, the southeastern part of the state. Areas like Henrico, Suffolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach. These are areas that are reliably Republican in 2000. If we go to 2020, these areas are either blue or complete toss-ups. Any party can win them. James City County, same thing. Once a safe Republican county, even Williamsburg, which is a college town and known for its historic sites and all that stuff, that is safe blue now. I think Joe Biden won Williamsburg by around 40 points. Of course, just in 2000, this was a toss-up area. Bush, in fact, won Williamsburg in the 2000 election. So already we've seen starkest differences, but the biggest difference of all is in Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia, I think, accounts for a third of the entire state's population. It might even be more. It could be 2/5 or something like that. But it's a sizable chunk of Virginia's population. In the 2020 election, all of the cities and counties up here are safe blue. Some people say Stafford and Fauquier are also Northern Virginia, but I usually think of the three counties, Loudoun, Fairfax, and Prince Williams, as where Northern Virginia is. And all of these counties and cities are safe blue now. If we go back to 2000, Fairfax, the bluest of the counties and the most populous, I think it has around 1 million people in Fairfax County. This was a toss-up county. Prince William was a likely Republican county along with Manassas, and Loudoun County was safe Republican. Now this is according to presidential election results of 2000 and 2004. And we can look at those right here. So if we go back to, this is the 2000 election, Fairfax County was won by Bush by around 2 points. Loudoun County, Bush won by 16, and Prince William was won by Bush by around 9 points. If we go to 2004, Fairfax does flip blue narrowly. Kerry wins Fairfax by around 8 points or so. I think it was actually a little less in the final results because this map rounds up the numbers. But Prince William and Loudoun still red counties. Loudoun still safe Republican. Prince William kind of likely Republican. So again, that fits pretty well with our map right here. Another thing to notice too, the county around Charlottesville, which in our timeline is a safe timeline. No, I'm in alternate history mode. In the 2020 election is safe blue. This is only goes to Kerry by 2 points. It's a toss-up county. We can look at areas like Henrico and Richmond as well. Richmond's always been blue, at least since the 70s, but Henrico was a likely Republican county, and we see that borne out in the results. I actually have it as lean because in statewide races, it can go either way. So the biggest change from 2000 to, of course, 2020 is what happened in Northern Virginia. The rest of Virginia, voting-wise, except maybe the Southwest, is mostly the same. Northern Virginia, maybe Henrico and the Richmond area has gotten bluer, but this is where it really counts. Northern Virginia has shifted a lot away from the Republicans. Republicans had usually run more moderate to conservative candidates, usually people that were very fiscally conservative, socially moderate to socially conservative, which worked in 2000 Virginia and the late 90s and stuff. Virginia was one of the first states of the Solid South to break away from that voting pattern and start voting red in the 1950s, and has since then been a reliably red state until 2008 when Obama won it by around 6 points. If we go to the 2008 election here on this map, Barack Obama beat John McCain by over 2 million votes in the state of Virginia. Now, this is a huge difference from the 2004 election where George W. Bush beat John Kerry by over 2 million votes and around 8 points. The biggest shifts, of course, here were in the suburbs. Henrico County going to Obama by 12 points. We have, of course, Fairfax County, Loudoun County, and Prince William. Prince William going safe Democrat for Obama. Loudoun County going likely Democrat for John McCain. Likely Democrat for Barack Obama. And of course we have the Fairfax area going 61-39 for Barack Obama. This is a huge change from just 4 years ago where Fairfax County had only gone to Kerry by 8 points. The Obama campaign was the first campaign, Democratic campaign, in nearly 40 years to make a serious play for the state of Virginia. Barack Obama had a huge field operation in the state of Virginia, phone banking, knocking doors, voter registration, concentrated here in the Northern Virginia area in Washington. This was an area that demographically was changing rapidly. Back when Virginia was a safe red state in 2000, the area, Northern Virginia, was a lot whiter. It was a lot less populated in comparison than it is now, and ultimately that favored Republicans a lot. Also, demographics, of course, play a massive role in Virginia's shift. In 2000, the population of Virginia was 75% white. I believe in 2020, that population is down to just 63%, or could be as low as 61%. But a massive shift in terms of the diversification of Virginia, mostly happening here in the northern suburbs, which is why they are starting to gravitate towards Democrats so heavily. So in 2008, we saw a roughly 6-point victory for Barack Obama in the state of Virginia. If we go to 2012, now these numbers aren't really final, so Obama won by a little bit more, but still a sizable victory by Barack Obama nonetheless. Areas like Fairfax going Democratic plus 20, Prince William plus 16 Democrat, Loudoun County plus 4 Democrat. So the northern suburbs are still very, very blue in the 2012 election. Virginia was one of the key swing states that both candidates, both Obama and Romney, were visiting a lot, particularly in the Newport News and Richmond area and the Northern Virginia area, because that is the most populous part of the state. Nobody's really going to southwestern Virginia. But one of the big shifts that can be seen from 2008 is that southwestern Virginia trended heavily more Republican than it was in 2008. The Virginia suburbs, the DC suburbs, for the most part, did trend back to the Republicans a tiny bit, but it wasn't enough to make a sizable difference. Of course, some areas in Newport News, like Norfolk, Portsmouth, Newport News, continued to trend more Democrat and thus kept the state in Democratic hands. Now, before this point, Virginia still had a Republican governor, Bob McDonnell, who was elected in 2009. We can go to that. So in the 2008 election, Barack Obama wins by around 6 points statewide. In 2009, the year after, Bob McDonnell wins over his Democratic opponent by 18 points. Just a year later, voter turnout was a lot lower, but Bob McDonnell was able to win back the suburbs, winning Loudoun County and Prince William convincingly and winning Fairfax, which no Republican has done since 2009. And of course, this was the last statewide Republican to be elected in Virginia, Bob McDonnell. So it really goes to show you where Republicans' strengths used to be. Republicans used to be able to, in a lower turnout area, keep these suburbs red. Now, the 2013 gubernatorial race was also a lower turnout election, but Democrats won it because Democrats were able to hold on to the Northern Virginia suburbs. Terry McAuliffe was able to win Loudoun County by 4 points, Fairfax by 22, and Prince William by 9 points. What's really interesting about this race, though, is the libertarian factor. Robert Sarvis getting 6% of the vote. A lot of people say he could have spoiled the election for Ken Cuccinelli, but Cuccinelli did lose by 2.5%, so it could be assumed that had this been a two-way race, it would have probably been around the same distance anyway in terms of who won, but I think Terry McAuliffe still would have come out on top because he was able to hold on to the Virginia suburbs, the Northern Virginia suburbs. The only place he didn't really perform as well was Henrico County. He lost Henrico County by 12 points. This was a county that used to be kind of a swing county. Romney actually lost it by 12. So already after the 2008 election, Henrico County is effectively safe Democratic. Even in 2009, it goes to the Republicans by 12. But again, if you look at some of the margins Henrico County used to go, even just in 2000, it was 12 points. So 12 points in a presidential year, 12 points in a low turnout Republican off year, really goes to show you that Henrico County has moved heavily to the left. Democrats have been putting a lot of money in the state of Virginia after 2008 because once they saw they were able to flip the state and the demographics were looking favorable for them, they continued to put a lot of pressure into this race. Now, I think one reason Cray Deeds did so awfully is because, one, this was a backlash to the Obama administration. Republicans turned out in huge numbers. Democratic turnout was very low since Democrats didn't really feel the need to turn out since Obama was in the White House. Again, Bob McDonnell won convincingly in Chesapeake, 20 points. Virginia Beach, over 30 points. Not over 30 points, 28 points. These are areas that, again, in 2020 are toss-up areas. So Republicans were able to perform very well in these suburban parts of the state. But again, 2009 was a fluke year. Republicans just got really lucky this year that they were able to win statewide. But I don't think that is likely to happen again. 2021 could be interesting, although I don't think we're ever going to see the Northern Virginia counties red anytime soon. I think if a Republican does pull it off, it would just have to be low enough turnout in these counties, Henrico County and the Southeast, to counter the Republican enthusiasm here in the Southwest and in the central part of the state. So this is where Democrats have been performing really well. This is a trend we've been seeing all over the country. Suburbs trending more blue, rural areas trending more red. We can see it here in southwestern Virginia. If Ken Cuccinelli was able to do better in southwestern Virginia, he would have won this election. Even with Northern Virginia blue, if he'd done better in places like Stafford County, Spotsylvania, ran up the margins, especially here in the Southwest, which if we go quickly to the 2020 election, these are counties that are going to Republicans by over 50 points. If somehow Ken Cuccinelli was able to win by those margins, he arguably could have won the state. Now, if we go to 2014, this was another really close race. Republicans almost pulled a upset in this Senate race, like they did in the Colorado Senate race here in Virginia, against pretty popular incumbent Senator Mark Warner. Mark Warner ended up winning his race only by 0.8%, and he actually lost Loudoun County, which, again, if we go back, was a county that Barack Obama won by 8 points. So we go from +8 Democrat to +1 Republican, or +0.5 Republican. So Ed Gillespie had a lot more suburban appeal, and arguably this was a race he could have won. Had a little more things gone in his favor, had he possibly raised a little bit more money, did more campaigning here in areas like the Richmond metro area. One thing I've noticed, even though the Northern Virginia suburbs did get a lot redder, suburban counties that didn't get as red were Henrico County and Chesterfield. The Richmond area seems to kind of be in its own universe because Northern Virginia, at least in the 2014 election, looked a lot more malleable than the Richmond area. Henrico County still +14 Democrat. Compare that to Fairfax County, only +17 Democrat, down from nearly plus 30 Democrat in 2008. So these counties are a little bit more swingy than these other suburban counties. Now, Republicans' biggest strength in the suburbs was what kept the state of Virginia red for such a long time, and one of the reasons why Virginia was one of the first states in the Solid South to lose its Democratic voting streak and start voting more Republican. Interestingly enough, 2006, we'll jump back in time for a little bit. 2006, the Senate race between Rob Allen and Jim Webb was actually kind of a foreshadowing of what was to come in the state of Virginia. This, of course, 2006 was a blue year for Democrats, but in Virginia, Webb was able to pull off a narrow victory by just around 10,000 votes, 9,000 votes, in the state of Virginia, and he was able to pick off the Northern Virginia suburbs just enough to win the state, only winning Prince William's by 2, Loudoun by 2. But the interesting thing is Webb's strength wasn't necessarily up here. It was also in the southwestern part of the state. These counties are a lot less red. So this is one of the big shifts that happened in Virginia. The Southwest, which was more friendlier to Democrats, now no longer is. The Virginia suburbs, the Washington suburbs, more friendly to Republicans, no longer is. So effectively, the party that controls the suburbs in the state of Virginia controls the state. The last time you can go to an odd exception to that rule is 2000. Mark Warner able to win tons of rural counties, which no Democrat would be able to do nowadays, while also losing the Northern Virginia suburbs, winning Fairfax by 10 points, but really making up all those lost votes down here in the state. We're very unlikely to ever see a race like that again, at least for a long time. We'll jump now to just 4 years ago in the 2016 election, when the state of Virginia was won by Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton by 5.4 percentage points, making it the third election in a row where Virginia voted for the Democratic nominee, going to her again by 5.4%. Of course, she almost got 65% of the vote in Fairfax County, Trump getting only 28, Prince William County going to Hillary Clinton by 21 points, Loudoun going plus 17 for the Democrats. We could even just compare that to 4 years earlier. Loudoun County only going plus 4 Democrat, Prince William plus 16, Fairfax plus 20. Now we have a totally different picture. Fairfax plus 36. Again, Prince William 21 and Loudoun County 17. And other areas that really swung more to the left were places like Williamsburg, James City County. James City County is a small county, but it almost seems to be a sort of bellwether in a way. It's a county that if Republicans perform very well in, they're likely to win statewide. If Democrats perform well in it, either winning it or making it close, they're likely to win statewide too. So again, we're just seeing more and more of these suburban trends where suburbs are trending away from Republicans. And even though most of the rural parts of Virginia trended Republican, it was the suburbs that ultimately lost the state for Donald Trump and kept him from winning it. Richmond, city of Richmond, trending a lot more Democratic. Henrico County, another suburban county, going plus 21 Democratic. That county is not coming back. Virginia Beach, an area Trump only won by 4 points, only won Chesapeake by 2 points. If we go back to 2012, Romney won by around 2 points as well, lost Chesapeake. But if we go back to even 2009, this was Virginia Beach was a county Rob McDonald was able to win by almost 30 points. He was almost able to win. He won Chesapeake by 20 points. So huge shifts in the southeastern part of the state and the northern part of the state. And the reason I'm focusing on those parts of the state the most is because of the most populated. Areas like Lynchburg, Roanoke, they are cities with decent populations, but they're not really likely to swing the state in one way or another. That's why I'm focusing on the eastern part of the state specifically. 2017, this trend continues. The state of Virginia gets even bluer. Though Gillespie improved on Donald Trump's margins statewide, it wasn't nearly enough. He did slightly better in the suburban areas, but it wasn't enough to offset Ralph Northam's just domination in this area, winning Fairfax by a similar margin to Hillary, around 35 points. Prince William by 22 points. Loudoun County by 20. There were other statewide races as well. Lieutenant governor's race, also just complete blowouts. for the Democrats. Likewise with Attorney General. This was a race that actually came down to a few hundred votes in 2013. The second time around, this race wasn't even that close. Mark Herring winning by a commanding 7 points, and mostly due to his strength in Northern Virginia, the Richmond area. And interestingly enough, this map isn't 100% updated because in the final results, Chesterfield County, which is a very large suburban county south of Richmond, actually came in blue for the first time in a really long time. Finally, that brings us to the 2020 election. The results for Virginia, I believe, are final now, so that's why I decided to make this video first. But again, Fairfax County going plus 41 for Joe Biden. Plus 41. We're talking about a county that just back in the 2000 election went to Bush by 2 points. So a county that went to Bush 2 points, that's a 43-point swing for the Democrats in Fairfax County. This is a county that's been exploding in growth. Areas that tend to be growing tend to favor Democrats. It's becoming more densely populated, favors Democrats. It's becoming more immigrant, more minority, favors Democrats. Likewise with Loudoun County and Prince William. These counties are very unlikely to ever go red again for a very, very long time. And this even bled out into Stafford County. Stafford County flipped blue for the first time, I believe, since 1964 in a presidential election. Same with Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach going blue for the first time since 1964. James City County going blue for the first time in a long time. I don't know the number on that. Chesterfield County. This was a county Donald Trump was able to eke out in 2016. Donald Trump won Chesterfield by 2 points. Joe Biden won Chesterfield by 7. So this really goes to show you that the dramatic leftward shift of Virginia isn't even done yet. Joe Biden winning the state by 10.1 percentage points. I think it's pretty safe to say that Virginia is going to be a lock for Democrats in 2024, as it already was for Democrats in 2020. But I wouldn't be surprised in 2 cycles or so if we see margins like Illinois in the state of Virginia. I don't see the state of Virginia really going back to Republicans anymore. 2021 might be the exception to the rule. It might be a fluke due to the fact that Biden is the president, and the off-year races tend to favor Republicans. And also Republican turnout is going to be higher due to that fact. So low turnout favors Republicans. Democratic incumbent in the White House favors Republicans. It would probably be their last shot to win the governorship in 2021. Now, Terry McAuliffe, if he runs, I think he'll probably win, so I don't think it'll be winnable for them. But they could win back possibly state government. But that really is probably going to be their last hoorah in the state of Virginia. Lynchburg flipped blue for the first time in forever, presidentially speaking. So just a complete disaster electorally for Republicans. This was a state between 1964 and 2008 voted Republican in every presidential election. No longer. This state now for the 4th time in a row has voted Democrat, making it pretty reliably in their column. Now the last thing we're going to look at is exit polls out of the state of Virginia. These are 2012 exit polls, I believe. So, for instance, if we look at Virginia, this is the demographic by gender. In 2004, Republicans won the male demographic 59-40. In 2008, males were won 51-47. And then in 2012, it flipped back a little bit. Again, males only making 46 to 47% of the electorate. So even winning them isn't really a whole lot because the females is where it really counts. If we look at females in 2004, it was tied. That was the last time Virginia went red presidentially. 2008, it's +7 for females. And in 2012, +9. So females even got more Democratic than they did before. Let's look at the white vote. In 2004, whites made up 72% of the electorate. 68-32 for George W. Bush. If we go to 2008, that number dramatically shifts. John McCain only wins the white vote by 21%. Which is 70% of the voters. Same in 2012. Now, if we look at 2016 and 2020, they're just 67% of voters. Black voters make up around 20% of Virginia's electorate. This is an electorate that has gotten bluer, with Bush getting 12% of the black vote, and then McCain getting 8%, and then Romney getting 6%. So, Obama winning the black vote by 87%. Not surprising, that's similar to most other parts of the country. Hispanic voters, we don't have 2004 information on, neither with Asian voters, so there's no use in looking at it. If we look at under 18s, 18 to 29-year-olds, it was a lot closer in 2004. So every single demographic seems to be moving more leftward, and it comes down to education. Virginians went without a college degree to Romney by a point in 2012. In 2008, they went to Obama by +9. But again, the college-educated voters are slipping away from Republicans. Post-grads always seem to favor Democrats more. And if we look at the 2016 results, we see something very similar. The white vote even getting more blue. 67%, 59% for Trump, 35% for Clinton. And, if we look at 2012, of course, it's 53-45. You can't win statewide in a state like Virginia, only winning the white vote by 8 points. Never going to happen. I'm curious to see if they have white women on this exit poll. I don't think they do. But I'd really be interested to see if Biden won white women. If I had to take a guess, I'd say he probably did in the state of Virginia. Again, other evangelicals only making 34% of Virginia's electorate now. I'd like to see if they have that on here. Political party, they do not. Because I'd really be interested to see if that has any effect on it. Democrats also make up a higher percentage of the electorate. In 2004, Democrats made up 35% of Virginia's electorate. In 2004, Republicans made up 39%. So the Republican share of the electorate is dropping. The Democratic share is rising. So not only do we have people voting more Democratic, we have just more Democratic voters in the state that are registered under that party. So we could see that overall the state of Virginia is very, very blue now. This was a state that was a safe Republican stronghold back in the early part of the century, back in the early 2000s, late 1990s. This was a state that was reliably Republican, and then over time it got more friendly to Democrats to the point where Democrats now have won every statewide office in Virginia since 2009. So again, the biggest shifts in Virginia are the northern suburbs, mostly because they are becoming more diverse, more educated, and that favors Democrats a lot. Richmond suburbs, same exact thing. And, of course, the Newport News area, same thing. Bluer areas are just getting bluer. One thing I have noticed about Trump as a political figure is that he really does a good job of polarizing areas. So, for instance, the red areas have never been redder, and the blue areas of Virginia have never been bluer. So, anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. The red to blue video on the state of Virginia. Please leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any new videos. I upload every day, Monday through Thursday. And I'm going to start live streaming on Friday soon. Maybe next Friday, maybe the Friday after that. I'll have to see what my schedule is like. But anyway, guys, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please consider these other videos up here. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.